Hello, everyone. Welcome to Plann with Plann. I'm so excited to be here with Emma. She's the content editor at Plann, and we can't wait to talk with you guys today about creating content and making it more effortless.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it too. And so I'd love to know where you guys are all from, so me and Emma can kind of see where you're tuning in from. And I'll read.
So exciting. I'm normally in these comments, so it's fun to be on the other end.
I know. So yeah, if you guys are coming back, if you've been to a Plann with Plann before, you've probably seen Emma in the comments. She's always helping out and answering questions there. So it's kind of crazy to have you here now, but it's really exciting.
On the other side, in the action.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. So we have some people coming in from London, Oregon, Canada, Hawaii, New Zealand, from all over. Wow, that's so exciting. Los Angeles. Wow. It always
Aussies.
Yeah, some Aussies too. It always amazes me, and I know the whole team, and I'm sure Emma, you feel this way, like being in the comments. It always amazes me seeing where everyone's from. It's just crazy that so many planners from around the world.
And what everyone does as well, like so many different jobs and industries. Like it's so exciting to see.
Yeah, that's so true. I know, that's such a good point. I'd love you guys too to let us know what industry you work in and what you use Plann for. Let's see. So I guess we can kind of jump into the slideshow. Emma will be coming back on in a little bit to talk through an exciting new feature that we've added to the calendar, and then also just giving you some really helpful tips with content writing. So I'll see you in a bit, Emma. Okay, thank you all so much for commenting what you do. It's always so interesting. So we have some hairstylists. Oh, Shannon's tuning in from Martinique. Hello, I'm in Martinique as well. And it's a small island, so you're probably really close to me. Chocolataire, that's very fancy, and I love chocolate. Art, that's awesome. We have so many amazing artists that use Plann. A yoga studio owner, auto dealership. Wow, that's amazing. This is really helpful too, because if you don't know, we have something called content prompts at Plann, which is basically our way of really helping you get ideas for what to post. And we have over, I think it's 80 industries, but we're always looking to add more. So knowing what industry you're in is really helpful, so we can make sure we add content prompts for your industry. Okay, well, I'm sure more will join us, but thank you all so much for being here. Why don't we go ahead and jump into our presentation and just tell you a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you. Okay, so again, welcome to Plann with Plann. We're so thankful that you're here. I think this is my 5th Plann with Plann, and it's just I always look forward to it, honestly. It's just such a great time to get to know you guys better and hopefully to help you really understand how to use Plann. And today we're joined by Emma, and she's our amazing content editor, and I'm so excited for her to jump on in a little bit because she has so much good information to share with you all. So to tell you a little bit more about myself, I am a content creator and I'm the social media manager here at Plann. I have my own personal Instagram account where I create content for brands such as Billabong, Focus Feature Films, and Shangri-La Resorts. And then, as I said, today we're joined by Emma. She is a writer, a coach. She even has a published book. She's just amazing. and she is from Sydney, Australia. So we're on opposite sides of the world coming at you. It's morning for her and night for me. And she's also the founder of A Girl in Progress, which is a self-development blog for women working on themselves for themselves. So she's appeared in publications like New York Times, Marie Claire, Cosmopolitan, and written for global brands like Canva, which we love here, Deliveroo, and Swiss. So like I said, she's just full of so much good information. So she's going to teach you guys a lot. So today, what you'll need, it will be pretty simple. So just a Plann desktop account. You can sign up for a free trial at the link if you have not registered for a Plann account. A Canva account, now it can be a pro one or a free account, whatever you can get your hands on. And then your June content calendar, which you should have received it in your email. If you haven't yet, don't worry. Our team will be popping it below in the chat, or we also just posted it on our Instagram. You can find it in the link in bio. And we have something really exciting with this content calendar, and I'm so excited to show you because it's really going to help. And then what we're covering today is some new Plann features, one of them being our upgraded media manager, which is one of my favorite features, our June content calendar. Emma will be going through the power of captions, where to find caption inspiration, how to use caption generators, repurposing captions for different platforms, how to write a caption, calls to action, and then we'll be answering your questions at the end. So any questions you have for me or Emma or both of us, go ahead and leave it in the chat below. You can always add, if you want one of us specifically to answer, you can always add our name next to it so we know, and we will answer those at the end. And to just give you a brief overview of media collections and user tagging, those are our new features before I show you a tutorial. This is just a great way to really not waste your time. It helps you get organized. It helps you, if you're working with a team, to really get clear about what you need to post and where everything is. And it just makes it so much easier. It makes workflow so much easier, even for us. And then tagging users is something we're really excited about. So now you can tag people in your post before you auto post a plan. So this just, again, makes everything so much easier. And this is Emma's slide, so I'll go back. Oh, sorry, accidentally stopped sharing with you. Let me go back. Okay, here we Plann first. That way I can show you around media collections, because like I said, media collections is one of my favorite features. It's just makes everything so much easier. I'm really into organization, and so being able to organize all my content before I post it is just amazing. And especially when you're working with a team, it just makes it so much easier for all of you to be able to simplify your workflow. And it's actually a feature that I find a lot of our planners don't know about. And it can do so much more than I guess a lot of people even know. And so I'm excited to show it to you. Sorry, I'm on an island in the middle of nowhere, so my Wi-Fi might be a tiny bit slow. Okay, so if you're completely new to media collections, I'll first explain it to you before I kind of show you what we've added. But basically, this is where you can organize all your content. And so instead of, every time you go to pull content into Plann, having to go through your laptop and try and find your content, this is where all your content can live. So essentially, it's almost like Dropbox on Plann. It's where you can organize it, all of it. You can easily find it. Your team members can easily find it. And it's just, like I said, I love it. So basically what you do is you add different collections, and then within those collections, you give them a name, and then you add specific content. So for example, this collection is called Beach, and you can see we have all beach photos. And this just makes it so easy. So like if I know tomorrow I'm having a beach cleanup and I know I want a photo of a beach, I can come into here. I know exactly where I can find it. Then we have this drag and drop ability, which allows you to simply drag it into your grid, see where it best fits. Let's say I drag this here and I'm like, okay, I don't really like the way that looks. I can just drag it and drop it back into the collection and then take another one. And it's just so easy. Instead of having to keep re-uploading one, it's just so nice to be able to drag and drop it into the grid. It honestly makes such a big difference. And it makes actually planning a cohesive feed so much more fun. And to me, it's a small thing, but it's actually a big deal. And so now a little update that we've added is you can now star your collections. So this is really great. Let's say, let's say you have a clothing brand, for example, and you have a new collection that's coming out that you want your social media team to focus on posting. You could, name this Summer Collection 2021. You could upload all the content from shoots here. You could add in this notes feature any important notes. So for example, if you wanted to make sure your team, tags a certain designer or supplier or photographer, you can add that here. And then you can also tag the media collections. So for example, if you want your team to know, hey, this collection is only being posted on Instagram, and then this one's being posted on LinkedIn, you can specify that as to, what platform this is meant for. And so that's what I really love. These are they're simple, intuitive updates and changes that just honestly make a big difference once you start using them. To create a collection, let me show you how to do that really quick. So you simply click Add Collection, go ahead and give it a name. I'm going to say Shell because I can't think of anything. And I'm on a beach, so it's fitting. Then you'll click this plus button, which is Add Media. You can either drag and drop your files from your computer. You can pull it from other collections you have, Dropbox. Ooh, I did not want to do that. Dropbox, Google Photos, Google Drive, free content, or Canva. So you can even pull in templates that you want to use. Our free content is just so great because you have access to so many beautiful stock photos. We actually post a ton of stock photos now on Plann. So if you look at our Instagram, you'll see some really beautiful photos. No, we are not vacationing in Bali. I wish. Christy, our boss, if you're watching this, team vacation after the world calms down, of course. But these aren't our photos. These are from our partners that we work with, Pexels, Pixabay, Unsplash. These are photos that their photographers have created and you have access to use within Plann. So it's really amazing for the days where you just don't have anything to post. Don't worry, you can always find content here. That's really going to save the day. And I think a lot of people feel like stock photos might look super like stock photos, but that's not true. There's actually so many good photographers that create really authentic photos that you can definitely add into your strategy. So, like I said, media collections is one of my favorite features because as a social media manager, it just makes my life easier, and I love that. So just to show you a couple more to give you some ideas, I saw we had a few florists in the chat. So for example, you could, create collections for florals, and maybe you would create a collection for each type of flower, or like Mother's Day floral designs, or, graduation, or, however you feel like it would help to have you organized, is really going to help you. It's really going to help you with your strategy too, because then you'll be able to start to see what content you're posting a lot of, where do you need to bring other content in, and it's just going to really simplify it for you. So that is the updated media collections. If you have any questions, of course, go ahead and ask in the chat, and we will go ahead and answer. So let's go ahead. I have one other feature to touch on, if my Wi-Fi allows me. Maybe not. So we now have tagging as well. So you'll see it when you click on your post. You will see the post here. All you have to do is simply click this little blue logo, and then you will go ahead and search the account you would like to tag, click save, and it's as easy as that. Then when you auto post your content or manually post it, but I think it's mostly for auto posting because it really helps automate your posting, then it will automatically tag the person. So this is also very helpful. Emma is going to jump on here pretty soon, so I will wrap this up by going into our content calendar, which I'm so excited about this month's content calendar. Let me go ahead and bring it up for you. It was up, and then it wasn't. I'd love to know too in the chat, who has used the content calendars? Are you new to the content calendar? Is it something that you find yourself using every month? I'm really interested to see kind of what your experience is with it. Okay, I have it up here. Okay, so this is our June content calendar, and this one, so you'll see on the first page, it looks pretty similar if you've seen our content calendars before. We have this design, which basically everywhere there's an Instagram logo, this is actually a template. So when you click into this, it will then bring up a template that we've designed for you to use for that specific day. Now, these are completely customizable. We show you how to customize these on our YouTube channel, Plan That, if you want to check it out, if you need more help in that department. All you have to do is click Use Template, and then you can change the colors, add different font, whatever you want. We do give you some tips on posting on other platforms because we do support Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So we give you some ideas of what to post on your Instagram story, on your LinkedIn and Facebook accounts. So I'll touch on one more thing, just because I think this is a question we've got a few times, which is, how do I look at all the templates? On the second page, you will just simply click this little example, and then it will open up all the templates for you. So we'll just go through a couple. Danny, our graphic designer, did an amazing job with this one. It's really beautiful. I'm so excited for you guys to see and use all the templates. Now, this one is different because we have a caption prompt. So we've been getting this question so many times in our Plan with Plann chats, which is, can you help me with captions? What advice do you have for writing captions? We know it can sometimes feel like a big headache or just intimidating, and that's exactly why we brought Emma on here, to actually walk you through, give you some advice, but we also have this for you now in our content calendar. So what you'll do is you'll just match up the days on the content calendar to these caption prompts below, and these will just act as a really good outline and really help you with your captions for the month of June. Saying all that, really, I'm not the expert in captions, Emma is, so I'm going to bring her back on. She is going to walk you through and give you some of her best advice. And here we are. Hi, Emma. I'm so excited.
Amazing. I'm excited too. Thank you so much for that awesome run through of the June content calendar. So Danny, our graphic designer, and I are always looking for new ways to really supersize those for you and continue to like take the resistance out of your social media content creation. So super excited about this month's calendar, and I'm going to be walking you through a little more about how to actually put those caption generators into action. So I'm super excited.
Great. Okay, well, I'm going to go now, and then Emma, I will see you at Q&A time.
See you at Q&A time. Cool. So as Greta mentioned, I am the content editor here at Plann. I've been here about 1.5 years, I think now. I run our blog, really help with anything that involves words. So our captions, our downloadables, our content calendars, I'm your girl. So apart from working at Plann, I also run a coaching business called Progress Coaching, and I work with women who are really prone to perfectionism, procrastination, and overwhelm, and sort of help them get out of their own way. So what I'm going to be talking about today is not just about how to write and repurpose awesome captions for all your social media channels, but also how to overcome some of that perfectionism and writer's block that so many of us face when we're creating content. Because even as someone who's been writing professionally for like 10 years, I still struggle with this from time to time. And I know it can really keep you stuck and stop you from putting more content out there. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen and get the slides up. Cool. Hopefully you guys can all see this. So the first thing I want to talk about today is why captions are so important. Because yes, they are the words that accompany your images, your graphics, your videos, but they're also so much more. So they're really a storytelling device or an opportunity to get your message out there and encourage your audience to take action as well. And we're going to be talking more about call to actions at the end, but they really do all this in a way that images and graphics just can't do, because you only have so much space. And they're also super versatile. Like there's so many different things you can accomplish with your captions, depending on the goal that you're trying to achieve with your social media. So they can tell a story, like welcome posts are a really good example of that. So which is something that you would normally use in sort of early stages of awareness when someone new has kind of just discovered your social media. They can also help you get to know your audience a bit better so that you can really connect with them and get a good idea of like what makes them tick, what are their pain points, what keeps them up at night. So you can better tailor your content around that, especially sales content. And so at the later stages of the sales awareness sort of funnel, you know, you can also entice them to take action to actually buy your product. So there is a lot you can accomplish with captions, but I know it can all feel a bit like, okay, but like what should I actually post when? And that all comes with following, I guess, a structured strategy of all those stages of, you know, awareness to nurturing your audience all the way through to conversion. And we've actually broken those down in our copywriting guide, so you know exactly what a well-rounded content strategy should actually look like. And I believe that you'll be getting that as an exciting bonus after this call. But just in terms of the day-to-day, in terms of like, how do you actually know what to post on your socials when you're completely blank on what to post? Like, the good news is there are a lot of different places that you can look too for inspiration. You don't always have to like just come up with it off the top of your head. So one of my favorite things is to eavesdrop on people's conversations, as rude as that might sound. You know, it's great fodder for content. One of my favorite places to do this is on the bus. It's like, say you're a dating coach, you might hear a woman complaining to a friend about, you know, how her boyfriend hates talking on the phone, but is otherwise a great boyfriend. That could spark a caption on, you know, the different love languages or communication styles. Facebook groups are another absolute goldmine for content ideas. So just as an example, I recently saw a post in a Facebook group about the law of diminishing returns, which is like an economic term, but it really got me thinking about how that applies to perfectionism. So I posted a caption about it. Another strategy that I really love for people who struggle with writing, like, you know, just actually getting words onto a blank page, is to just talk it out instead. So just literally voice bomb it onto your phone and use a tool like some of my favorites are Rev and Otter. But I think even iPhone and Android have some like good auto transcription apps now that will turn your voice notes into text. And then you can just go ahead and tidy it up and make it into a caption. And you can also use a tool like Grammarly, you know, if you kind of struggle naturally with, I guess, grammar and structure, using a tool like that is kind of a shortcut that will basically edit it for you. Another way you can do it is actually start with your images and videos, and we have a huge library of free, beautiful stock images and videos inside Plann, and that can really get your creative juices flowing. So you don't always have to start with the words. You can actually start with those visual assets. Like maybe there's a cool picture of like a turtle that you find, and it reminds you of like the first time you went to the zoo and saw a turtle with your dad. Like, and then you could share a story about that. And we also have a blog about 9 great places to find content ideas that has plenty of ideas too. So maybe someone can pop that in the chat, but if not, it went up on our blog pretty recently. So lots of other ideas there. And then one of my absolute favorites is our content prompts within Plann. So that is a great place to start when you're not really sure, like, what's the next theme I should talk about. Like I think Greta mentioned, we have like more than 50 different industries of these content prompts inside the strategy tab in Plann. So that is also an amazing place to start. So now I want to talk about how to actually use the caption generators inside our new June content calendar. And I think this is something that we're going to keep doing going forward. So that means that you're always going to have at least 30 different ideas to spark your inspiration every month. So yeah, we're really wanting to help, you know, with every stage of your content creation process. And we think this is the way that we can best help you with captions, because like I said, I think it's an area where a lot of people get stuck. So I want to walk you through what it might look like to use one of these. So this is an example from June 16. This is kind of a more sales focused caption that's kind of like acknowledging a common objection that might stop someone from investing in your product and service. And basically you're guiding them through to conversion by answering the question before they've even asked it, which is a really powerful strategy. And it's a great way to convert those people who are like mostly sold on your product, but just need like a little bit of extra guidance to get there. So as you can see with the prompt here, like it's mostly there, the structure is there. You just need to fill in the blanks with information like specific to your business and industries. This is something that could work for most captions and most industries, and we've done it this way on purpose so that it's very versatile for everyone. But this is what it would look like to fill it out. So with the example here, I'm sort of imagining it's a brand designer filling this out. So they've added in their industry, brand design, they've added in a common objection that they get, that they think they're too early in their business journey. They've added in their case study name, which is the client Vanessa, what she stopped doing, which was playing small but and not investing in her brand design, and what she achieved by doing that. She attracted 10 new clients into her business. So this is an example of how you can really like fill in the gaps and like plug and play these caption templates and use them for your own brand, and also use them alongside the amazing graphic templates that Daddy's created. It's really like your content strategy in a box. So the other beautiful thing about these captions is that you can really use them across all the social media platforms you're showing up on. It's really just a matter of slightly tailoring them so they're more appropriate to, I guess, the feel and audience of that specific platform. So take another example from our content calendar here. This one is more, educational and sharing a tip. So I'm going to be showing you how you would use that across the 3 platforms that we support in Plann, which are Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So Instagram, I like to think of as it's really the youngest of these 3 platforms, not as young as TikTok, but still pretty young and cool. It tends to be the most fun and casual. So as you can see, we've thrown some slang and emojis into here, and we've broken it up with into smaller sort of sentences because people do tend to skim on Instagram. The attention span tends to be pretty short there, as it is still a visual platform. And we've also added our call to action there to generate engagement by asking them to share their go-to productivity hack in the comments and really drum up that engagement. And of course, we've added some hashtags because you can on Instagram, and obviously it's a great way to get more visibility on your posts. And then we have Facebook, which I tend to think of as more like that warm, friendly auntie. And as you can see, we've taken the emojis and hashtags out of there because they obviously don't really translate to Facebook. They're not really a thing on Facebook. And we've made it slightly less casual, but also still quite conversational and like we're talking to the reader, not just at them. So we're still asking a question at the end, but in a way that's really trying to get engagement and let me know in the comments kind of way. So not just talking at them, it's really trying to involve them in the conversation. And then finally, we have LinkedIn, who's kind of more like the corporate cousin. So obviously LinkedIn started as a professional networking platform, but in recent years, we've kind of seen it transition into more of a social media platform, with some of its newer features like stories and lives as well. But as you'll see, this one has a more serious, less flippant sort of tone, which I like to go for when posting content on LinkedIn. It feels kind of more like a thought leadership post, sort of positioning you as the expert. You're very much talking about this tip in the context of work, so it is LinkedIn appropriate, but you're also still encouraging conversation with a call to action at the end, which is important on all platforms. So that is one caption, 3 ways. And the good news is it is super, super easy to repurpose these across your various platforms using Plann. So in the Create tab in Plann, you just head to this blue button at the bottom right of the image and select Recreate, and then you choose which platform you want to send it to. And then it actually pulls up a little window where you can edit your caption and quickly make it appropriate for that platform. And then you can do your thing and hit schedule. So it makes it so easy to recreate, which very much streamlines your workflow. So I just wanted to give you guys a few more examples of the different types of captions in action, using some of the generators from our content calendar, just so you can really understand the power of a diverse and varied content strategy. Because all these different types of captions really serve their own purpose in your content strategy, and they're all important to use at different times. And I'm hoping these slides are actually working. I'm just going to have a quick check and make sure there's no issues. Perfect. It seems like you guys can see and hear me, so I think we're all good. So the first caption we have here is, it's a very entertaining, short and snappy one. You're really just trying to engage your audience, get them following you if they're not already, maybe they've just come across one of your posts. And you got to give them a reason to actually follow you. So these types of posts are really great for visibility and audience growth. And then we have a warming up post. So that's more, welcoming new followers, building that really important like, trust and know factor, so that they will feel more ready to buy from you when the time comes. And then we have social proof, which is also that sort of trust piece, but more so about credibility, and seeing that other people think you're awesome, so they should think that too. Us humans are very influenced by what other people think. So, this type of post is important for helping your audience take you seriously. And it can also encompass things like testimonials as well. So Then we have our vulnerable post. So that's more, and you can see the captions if you actually look in the caption of the mock-up of the Instagram post. That's where the captions are, but you can also obviously find them inside the content calendar. But vulnerable is also about like nurturing your audience, warming them up, showing that they can relate to you and what you've been through, and the journey you've been on from, you know, where you started to where you are now, so they can imagine the transformation that's possible for them as well. And then we have a thought leadership post. So that's more, again, about credibility, positioning you as an expert in your field, sharing an opinion on an industry topic or teaching them something new. So it's really about giving value. And it can also be things like educational tips and carousels. And then we have conversion. So during a sales campaign, this is the type of post that you'll be more leaning towards, but it should really take up a very small amount of your overall content strategy throughout the year, and then go a little bit harder during your actual campaign, because people do need to see it a few times for it to really register with them. And that's sort of using strategies like urgency and scarcity to get people to take action. But again, you want to use this pretty sparingly, you know, throughout most of the year, because people obviously don't like to be sold to all the time. But I think the point that I really want to get across here is that not every single caption has to be like, you know, really poignant or a sales pitch. Sometimes it's okay to just share like a funny observation, you know, or your raw thoughts on a subject, or, you know, a recent challenge that you went through, or, you know, sometimes that's even more engaging and relatable than like the perfectly thought out caption. So finally, I just wanted to share my personal step-by-step guide to writing a caption quickly, even when I don't know what to write, even when I'm really tired or my brain just isn't working for me. I think this can work for pretty much everyone, even if you're not a writer. So the first thing is to actually set a timer for 3 minutes. I find that giving yourself a smaller window kind of like forces you to jump into action and get creative. And depending on how you work best, you can either like just brain dump any of your ideas, like, you know, into Plann, or you can voice dump your idea, like I mentioned before, and then actually go back and transcribe it later. But just, you know, just let the words sort of flow. Like, don't police yourself or expect it to be amazing. You know, you can always go back and refine it later. And then once you've kind of got something down, then you should check for your who, what, where, when, how, and why it matters. So you won't always have all of those elements there, but I think ticking off a few kind of shows that you're that you have some clarity in your caption, and like the purpose of that caption is actually there. You're not just like posting for the sake of it. And then step number 3 is to do the yeah, but so what tests, which sounds a little bit, I guess, mean, but what I mean by this is when I'm writing a caption, to make sure, you know, it's really intentional and clear. With every line in my caption, I'll sort of go through and say, yeah, but so what? Like, what is actually the purpose of this line? Is this line bringing something new to the table? If it's a good way, if you find that you tend to be a bit repetitive with your writing, it's a good way to like cull it down a bit and, yeah, make it really to the point and effective. And then number 4, use Grammarly to tidy up your caption, or a newish sort of app that I really like. It's actually a Chrome extension called Speechify. It actually like reads out what you've written like back to you, and I find that really helpful for you know, making sure it reads okay and that it's clear and engaging. Like sometimes when you're just reading it, it's hard to sort of, you know, make sure you're making the impact that you want to with your words. But otherwise, you can also just read it back to you. Like, I think this is also a good way to make sure that it's, you know, still quite conversational, and doesn't just read like an essay, because that's the type of content that works well on social media. And then finally, add your call to action. So this is really just telling your audience the next step to take. It's a really important part of any caption, because otherwise, you know, especially if it's the first time they've come across your content, their journey with you and your content might just end there. So some examples of call to actions. So tag someone you know who needs to see this. This is great for visibility. You know, people start tagging their friends, and those friends start tagging people, and it really just has like a chain reaction, which is really great. Come back tomorrow for an exciting announcement. That gives them a reason to come back and revisit you, and kind of like builds up that excitement and anticipation. This was just a taste. Get on the list for the full enchilada. I don't think I can take credit for this one. I think this might have been our amazing Christy who came up with this one. But I love it. You know, it's just like cute and clever. It's just, you know, it going a little bit outside the norm and catching people's attention. Tag 3 friends and we'll DM you a 30% off promo code instantly. So that's a really great way to start like actually building that sort of like direct conversation with your followers. And then save this post to read again later. Like, you know, saves has become such an important metric, especially on Instagram and with carousels. It tells Instagram, you know, if a lot of people are saving your content, it tells them that, you know, it's valuable. And my belief is that they then are more likely to push that in their algorithm, but I don't know if that's ever been proven. But, you know, either way, you want people to be saving your content. So I think that is it from me. I think we're going to go to questions. So I would love to get Greta back up.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was so helpful. And I love how you give like each platform kind of like a personality. I feel like that makes it so much less intimidating. Because
yes, I like to just think it's the whole fam, you know.
I was thinking of it like that. I was like, yeah, because the way I talk to my friends, like I probably wouldn't talk to like my grandma or like my professor like that or whatever. Exactly. And like that's kind of LinkedIn, you know, and it's like, yeah, it's just I think sometimes it can be intimidating when you're like, oh, I'm just trying to get like one platform down and how do I then like master kind of all the platforms, but it's not that scary actually.
Yeah, I think people tend to think they need to reinvent the wheel with every single platform and have like completely different content for every platform, but we're all about working smarter, not harder. And you can 100% just be repurposing the same content across and getting more bang for your buck.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And yeah, you just brought up so many good points. So we have a couple questions. Let's see. Oh, Stacy wants to know, what was the personality for IG again?
Yeah, I just saw that. So Instagram is like kind of like the young, cool, not teenager, I'm going to say like millennial. They're not as young and cool as TikTok, but they're, you know, they're pretty up there. They're still pretty like trend driven. And yeah, in terms of the writing, I tend to definitely go for a more casual conversational style on Instagram, and also keep breaking it up into those smaller paragraphs because it is a visual platform, and people are really just skimming usually when they're on Instagram.
Yeah, and that's something actually I learned from you. Like spacing is so important because if you just have this huge chunk of text, like it can look so daunting. And that's what I love about in Plann. Like you can actually space the caption how you want it, and then it will post like that. Because I feel like that just makes it so much less intimidating for someone to read, and they kind of get like tricked into reading the whole thing, you know?
Yeah, I love that as well, because like obviously coming from like a writing and blogging background, my tendency is to write in like long paragraphs, but I love that Plann kind of makes it easy to do that and reminds me to break it up a bit, because yeah, it's always my tendency to do that.
Yeah, a lot of people are asking you for your personal Instagram because they'd love to get on your coaching program. So do you want to?
Yes, I would love to help you guys overcome writer's block. So my Instagram is Emma J Norris. I'll just type it in the chat as well. Yeah, that was so much fun. I think we've got a few questions here.
Yeah, Devin actually asked a really interesting question. He said, how do you push sales without making people feel pressured? I'm the admissions director for a cosmetology school. We need to create the urgency of starting school, but don't want to scare students away. I'm curious what you have to say, Emma, and then I'll, of course, add my 2 cents.
Yeah, so I think a lot of sales, I think, comes down to mindset. And I think it's really important to keep in mind that you're not pushing something on people who don't want it. You're providing a solution to the people who actually need it. And I think if you keep that in mind when you're writing all your content, that makes it so much easier to like not feel like you're being salesy and slimy. You're actually just helping the people who need it. So I think also just getting really clear on like their pain points, like I mentioned before, like what are those things that keep them up at night? I'd probably have to have a think about, like, in terms of your specific industry. Definitely check out the content prompts in Plann. I think that we probably have something that's relevant to your industry there. But yeah, definitely getting clear on their pain points and the challenges that they're facing so that you can provide it as a solution. And also if there's ways that you can, show like transformations, whether it's of, other customers, and like so that they can really like put themselves in their shoes and imagine themselves there. I think that feels a lot more like natural and organic than I guess just being like, buy my thing constantly. What do you think, Greta?
Yeah, I love what you said about mindset, because I think, there's something like sometimes you feel guilty about like selling something on social media, but it's like exactly what you said. You're just offering a solution to a problem. I think for me too, something I would say is really like pull in, the existing students to kind of help tell the story, and like just by featuring the people who are there and really, showing their success and just like bringing them into that conversation, I feel like that's going to help so much for it to just be really natural and have people. I mean, that's what we love to do at Plann. Like we really want to put our planners on the platform and elevate what they're doing, because, if they love Plann and they're successful using Plann, hopefully other people see that and it will encourage them versus all of us, jumping.
That's so true. Yeah, I think it's about showing, not telling as well. Like, I think, like you said, the testimonials and transformations are a great way to show, the amazing transformations you create, rather than just being like, I'm the best. So no, I think that's really powerful as well.
Exactly. And I think, Devin, something that you could implement if you haven't already is really helping the students get to know social media. I know my sister graduated from cosmetology school recently, and a lot of the people in her salon, they're really trying to figure out how to use social media because it's so important for their business. And so if you can kind of, get started on that beforehand, I think it will really help. I just put a YouTube video up on Plann That, our account on YouTube. And I actually do a video with my sister, who's a hairstylist, and give her some tips on how she can like elevate her account. So I think, social media is just like everyone uses it now, and just kind of helping them understand it beforehand is going to be really enticing, I think.
Yeah, definitely check out that video. It's super helpful.
Yeah, it was so fun to do it with my sister. I was like, this is weird. We're like working together.
No, but it's great being able to show, these people who are doing amazing things in all different industries, especially if they're family, and to be able to show that in action, like what you would actually do for her account. I think it makes it feel, so much more actionable.
Yeah, definitely. Rebecca asked how to access the content calendar in Plann. So the content calendar, well, it's a link, so it will be dropped down below. But I'd love to kind of like touch on our calendar within Plann, because I know like Emma, we use that a lot at Plann, and I feel like we don't really cover that a lot. But we do have a feature, our calendar feature, where you can see an overview of all your posts that you've planned out. This is super helpful. And you can also add in events. So I know, Emma, like you do like podcasts and you have a bunch of stuff with your company, but I know for me, like with even my personal work, like it's so nice to add events in there and kind of know like what I have coming up for anything social media. I find
I find the same. Yeah, I think it's amazing for giving you like a bird's eye view of everything you've got coming up in your marketing strategy. Like for me, it's about so much more than just social media, even though that is a big part of it. Like you said, it's like podcasts, it could be doing a webinar. So I just love that the content calendar really, it takes out a lot of the overwhelm for me, because I can really see exactly what I've got coming up and how the different pieces of the puzzle fit in together. So I love it.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Emma, because this might help our planners too, but like, do you usually write out a caption before you have the content, or like, what's your kind of process? Do you get the photo or the content first and then you write it kind of based on that? Or do you kind of already have a caption in mind and then you pick your content based on your caption?
That's such a good point. Honestly, on my own account, I probably start with the content first. Like I usually have an idea or a theme or a story that I want to share. And then I'm like, okay, what image can I go with? Like will accompany that. But when it comes to like graphics, you know, like a carousel, or anything that has a bit more text on it, I'm actually normally starting with that. So the content for that, and then the caption will kind of just, you know, I won't go too text heavy with the caption because really the carousel should be telling the story. So it's a bit of a mix really, but you know, they really do have to go hand in hand. Like the image should definitely not be an afterthought, especially on Instagram where it is such a like visual platform. I think they're both equally important.
Yeah, definitely. You want it to all like just kind of flow. And I'm glad you brought up carousels because I know Instagram's like having a tantrum right now and not posting them. So make sure to follow us on Instagram at Plann That. I'll be posting kind of a workaround until Instagram fixes that. Let me go ahead and see a few more questions. We get them in so fast, so sometimes it's hard. Any tips on Reel/TikTok editing? Sam finds it super hard to edit on Instagram. Do you have any like favorite editing apps, or do you find it easier to edit on TikTok, Emma?
At the moment, I'm editing on TikTok. I'm very slow at it. So you're definitely not alone, Sam. Like, I don't know, it's a bit fiddly. And then I tend to repurpose that onto Reels. But there was one, I think there's one that we've both used, Greta, a videoing app. No, InShot. I think it was InShot. I've used that a couple of times, and that was quite good as well. But I think don't feel like you have to do anything too crazy with the editing. Like my approach is very much about imperfect action. So normally I'm like, especially with TikTok, when I'm just getting used to it, I'm like, oh, I know this looks a bit, it's not my best, but let's just get it out there.
Yeah, for me, it's the music too. Like TikTok really has all the good music, but
yes, that's why I do it on there. Yeah.
A little pro tip, you can go to Snaptic. It's a website, and you can actually, if you open up TikTok on your laptop, copy the link to your video, put it into Snaptic and download it. It will create the video without the logo. And then you can just post it on Instagram Reels.
That is a great life hack. I think we've got a few other people have mentioned, Tersu mentioned Splice. I haven't heard of that one, but I'm definitely going to check that out. I think we also have a question about repurposing. Sam says, would also love to hear about repurposing from blog or podcast. Do you hype before, talk about it after, frequency, etc.? Yeah, so I think it can really be a bit of both. Like, I think, especially for things like podcasts, if you have like a really exciting guest coming up, like I definitely love to hype it, not hype it, but, you know, build up interest beforehand. And then obviously once it's actually gone up, you know, just give people a reminder that it has come up. You don't have to, you know, that's what stories are really great about on Instagram. Like, you know, you don't have to worry about, you know, posting too much because not everyone's going to see every single one. So definitely give people as many opportunities to engage with the content as possible. In terms of frequency, I always say it's the amount that you can comfortably stick to and do it consistently. So, you know, don't feel like you have to blog or get a new podcast up like every single week. If that's not sustainable for your lifestyle, you'd be much better off doing it every fortnight, so people start to, you know, recognize a pattern and actually, like, you know, they look forward to your fortnightly episodes. I hope that helps.
Yeah, and I love like you can really repurpose it so much. I've noticed too, like,
they did ask for that.
Posting it. Yeah, no, but I've noticed a lot of people like posting it. Their podcasts like on YouTube, for example, and like you can even, because IGTV, I think it allows like an hour long. That you can post, and you can post IGTVs. You can plan them out on Plann. And I feel like that's a helpful way too. Or you even sometimes will turn them into blog posts. which is
Yeah, I was
so
actually just going to
helpful.
mention about that. So definitely a big fan of repurposing. Like, you could even record a YouTube video, then take the audio and turn that into a podcast episode, and then take that audio and put it into Rev, which was the tool that I mentioned before that like transcribes it for you. They have a more expensive version that's very accurate, and then they have a cheaper version that's like an auto one. It's like maybe like 60% accurate, but it's just so easy now to like, take that content and turn it into, multiple different smaller pieces of content. So definitely recommend doing that. And then you can then turn them into smaller videos as well for like, stories or IGTV. Like there's just so much you can do with one piece of content.
Yeah, that's so helpful. Definitely. Let's see. Jennifer said, how do you feel about posting to IG daily? Sometimes I think it's too much. Does this mess with the algorithm? Oh, I feel like the algorithm just wants you to post as much as possible. They really want you to spend time on the app. And so honestly, I don't think there's such thing as too much. I mean, obviously you want to be conscious of your followers. You don't want to completely, spam them. But I mean, just for us, we post on our grid daily, we post on our stories daily. And I think really more it's about consistency. So whatever you can be consistent with, that's the most important thing, I think. And so if you can keep up with posting daily, then try that. But if you long-term feel like 3 or 4 times a week is a better fit for you and you'll be more consistent, then I'd kind of stick with that.
Yeah, I would agree. I think there's definitely no harm in posting every day. I wouldn't have thought. Maybe if it's really repetitive content, I get the feeling that Instagram doesn't love you to just repeat the same thing every day. But as long as you're doing fresh and valuable content, like I definitely don't think it's going to do you any harm. But, like Greta said, the amount, if you can more consistently stick to 3 or 4 days a week, that's always going to be better than, kind of going every day for a week and then like, only one post the week after.
Yeah, the followers are gonna be like, where did she go?
Michelle has a good question. Do you think showing a little of your personal life on your business page could affect your brand? I would love to hear your thoughts on this, Greta, like obviously in terms of your personal account, being a content creator, an influencer, like how do you find that balance between, I guess it's, it kind of lends itself to sharing about your personal life. But yeah, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I think this is where I think this is what's so great about, like, for example, stories versus grid posts, because maybe I see my grid more of like a portfolio of my work, and that's just for me because, I do photography and content creation. And so brands, if they come to my Instagram, I really want them to get a good idea of who I am, yes, but my work. And then I feel like in stories, that's where I can get really personal. I've jumped on my stories and I've talked about things like mental health and, kind of given little life updates here and there. And I think that's a really great way for people to connect. I feel like whatever you're comfortable with, I think what you post is like the people you attract. And so if you want to share more of your personal life, then you're going to gain followers that, are excited about that. But yeah, I'd love to hear your take, because I think you do a really good job, because in your captions, like, you're very vulnerable and honest, but then you're obviously very professional and you're running a business. So how do you kind of find that balance?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I've kind of tried both ways. So for my blog, when I first started it, it was not about me at all. It was very much a blog with lots of different contributors. And I tried a few times to, I guess, bring my personal life into that account. And it always felt really like forced, and like it just didn't feel like it was coming naturally to me. And then I recently started bringing more of my business into like my personal account, the account that I've had for like, 10 years, like that I've always just used as a personal account, and started speaking more about, my coaching, my courses, like what I'm doing business-wise, even plan things. And that felt a lot more natural, and it's just coming a lot more effortlessly. So I think it's really, like you said, it shouldn't feel forced. Like Of course, there's a difference between like, you do have to get out of your comfort zone a little bit when you start sharing more about your personal life, but it's just doing it in a way that feels comfortable to you and not sharing more than what you're comfortable with. People don't need to know every aspect of your life. Like I know a lot of people who will speak really vulnerably about their business challenges, but they won't necessarily talk a lot about like their relationship. So I think it's finding what that boundary is for you and doing what feels good for you.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I think for everyone it's different, and you just kind of have to experiment and, feel what's right for you. And I think that's what's fun about social media is you can just experiment, and like you can also use like the strategy tool and Plann. I really like this because it helps me like kind of see my account from like a bird's eye view. I don't know if that's the best way to see it from, but and I can see like, okay, maybe I can bring in more vulnerable posts, or I've been posting a lot about, brands. Maybe here I can kind of get a little deeper. And I don't know, it's just nice to like be able to see it in that more like objective way, I think.
Yeah, because then you're not like, oh, am I posting too much about this, too much about that? Like, no, you've got, like you said, an objective view on like, no, this is what a well-rounded content strategy looks like. So,
Exactly.
it's foolproof, really. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's so true. I can't believe it's already, it's 9 p.m. for you. What time is it for you, Emma? 10 a.m.? I think?
11 a.m.
11 a.m. Yeah. I know we have even more questions, but I think we'll jump into our last slide. And it was just so great to be able to connect with all of you. Any other questions you have, of course, you can reach out to us on Instagram. I will try and answer them in our stories tomorrow. Let me just bring on the last slide. So I can touch on where you can find Emma, because I know some of you are really interested in her coaching and hearing more about what she had to say today. So again, as we touched on in the beginning, you will be getting a guide to your email. This is a full-on copywriting guide, and it's really going to help you just kind of retain all the information that Emma gave you today. She put it together with our graphic designer, Danny, and so we're really excited for you guys to see that. And then Emma, if you just want to touch on where they can find you, so they can follow you.
For sure. Yeah, I would love to connect with you all. So my website, progresscoaching.co, is under construction at the moment, but will be live in about a week. But for now, the best place to connect with me is just on Instagram at Emma J. Norris, or you can find me on LinkedIn. But my Instagram content is a lot more fun than my LinkedIn. But yeah, this has been so much fun, and it's been, so great connecting with everyone in this way. I loved it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for being here. And we were laughing earlier in our meeting because we were like, eventually we're going to just get the whole Plann team on. Like we're going to go down the line. So I'm sure you guys are going to be even more of our team. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. And we will see you next month.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.